Welcome to another edition of Inside EKU Sports. We'll begin with EKU football and head coach Walt Wells. You lose at now number 25 Marshall and then a tough game against West Virginia. You have an off week. Number one, I saw improvement. I know you did too, from game one to game two. So what did you work on with some extra time before the Citadel this Saturday?
Well, last week, while we were open, we had the chance to heal up a little bit, focus on some academic stuff that we had to take care of. But we got 3 really good practices in, and we spent the majority of the time on the Citadel, but we did go some good-on-good periods just to make sure we're getting the speed that we need to get to and focus in on some tackling and some landmark issues that we had in the zone game, in our running game, and just continue to throw the ball against good on good. So we worked against each other some, but then we got deep into the Citadel those 3 days, with Friday being our last work day, and dedicated that day solely to the Citadel.
Do you feel like you are seeing improvement in your team, though? I mean, I saw it from the press box in Morgantown.
You do. You want to see it on the field in wins and losses, and you want to see it in points scored and in stopping people. But we are, I felt like after the Marshall game that they were a really good football team, and I think it showed. They held Appy to 7 points, and I don't know if anybody's done that in a long, long time to Appalachian State. And so their defense is probably a little better and a little ahead of their offense. We probably thought it the other way around when we were, coming off the game. I didn't. I felt like their defense was fast and physical and got after you. And then we went to West Virginia, and I felt like, there were times that we felt like, we were, competing consistently with them. We just couldn't consistently put it together for 8, 9, 10 play drive. And we did at times and got points twice. And, the Big 12 comes back and tells us the kickoff return was legit. It shouldn't have been called back. And I think that took some momentum away from us in the first half there. But we've got to be able to overcome that and play better and continue to get more points. But I think you see those young guys understanding a little bit about what's going on with the scheme that we're using, what we're teaching them, the speed of the game, the physicality of the game, and then more importantly with them, it's the mentality. You have to bring it every play, and every play has a life of its own. And if you don't play it like that, then you get caught up in the past or what's going to happen next. And you just got to worry about what's happening at that moment. And I think they did improve in that area.
We talk about a young football team. I looked at my spotting chart, and I counted 15 freshmen or redshirt freshmen that have played on the offense, 13 on defense. But you hope that they become, this is an overused term, but you hope they eventually become sophomores in their freshman year.
Well, they have to. I mean, that's just where we're at right now with our program, and that's no excuse. But they've got to continue to develop and get better. Consistency, again, is the big issue when you're talking young people. Just reading their keys, blocking their assignment, doing, motioning the right way and not coming forward or doing little things that create hiccups in your offensive rhythm or in your defensive tackling and your defensive run fits. And so they're getting better at it. Of course, then you throw the triple option, which changes everything for them, as far as their reads and their keys and things like that. So, we just got to make sure that they are disciplined in what they do, keep it as simple as possible, and let them be able to play.
And so it will be Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina on Saturday, kickoff at 1. You mentioned the triple option. Clemson has been in the same predicament that EKU has, playing Clemson. Citadel has playing Clemson and South Florida. But Brandon Rainey is a graduate student at quarterback who knows the system. He's had a little bit of an opt-out and injury problem with his A and B backs, but still 2 great wide receivers can go deep on you out of a running game. I mean, there's all kinds of things that they could hit you with.
Well, I think when you watch them, the one thing that you notice, especially when you watch last season, is that they will throw the ball more than most triple option teams do. It's not like Army and Navy where they hardly throw the ball, or they'll put it up in the air a little bit. And he's got some accuracy about him. He is a kid that knows his system, knows what to do, puts them in the play that they need to be in with their check system. And we've been working hard this week against all that and understanding how the number count goes and where they're going from. Coach Stillman, who played in that offense, who's our our quarterback's coach, he's helped us out in the open week and sit down and talk to us. And when we found out we were playing this this summer or in training camp area, we started going to work on it a little bit just to have an idea of what they're trying to do to us. And so he's been a major help. As I said earlier to you, he's been playing scout team quarterback all week in our scout periods, which has been fun to watch. And I think our kids have a new respect for him athletically. But
yeah, he was a great quarterback at Army.
He ran it better than anybody. So he's given us a good look out there, and we appreciate him doing that. But still taking time to be with the quarterbacks and work with them.
When you look at the Citadel defense, all eyes on Willie Eubanks. He was the Southern Conference Defensive Player of the Year last year with well over 100 tackles. He leads them this year with 21. You'll see him all over the field.
No doubt. Big, physical, fast linebacker that lines up at a variety of different situations. So we got to know where he's at, what his tendencies are when he's lined up in certain situations. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played, and he's physical tackler. So, we'll have to do a great job of IDing him and getting on him.
All right, Walt, good luck against the Bulldogs of the Citadel this Saturday.
Appreciate that.
That is Walt Wells, the head coach of the Curdles. We will have the coverage at 100.7 FM. You can find the stream at EKUsports.com, also on the TuneIn app. The game also streamed on ESPN+. When we come back, we'll check in with the Vice President and Director of Athletics at Eastern Kentucky, Matt Roan. That next here on Inside EKU Sports.
At EKU, we believe education is the solution to challenging times. So, we're keeping college within your reach. This year, we're freezing tuition, dining, and housing fees, increasing financial aid for incoming students, and you can apply for free. We call it the EKU Advantage. Earn your degree on campus, online, or both. It's your choice. To learn more, visit advantage.eku.edu.
Our guest now is Vice President and Director of Athletics, Matt Roan. Matt, you've had to go through a lot of scheduling puzzles to get to this point in the season, but it's been worth it, hasn't it?
It has. Yeah, it's been an interesting time since the spring, Greg, when you and I had the chance to do this last, and we've gone from having a full schedule to having something less than, to continuing to add those opportunities. But for us, I feel like I've used this phrase a lot. It's been about creating a schedule of opportunities for our football student athletes. It's been about creating kind of memorable championship level experiences, and I feel like we've done that.
And that's why fall football is best for EKU rather than waiting for the spring, right?
I think so. It really several reasons went into ultimately our decision, and it was an institutional decision. It wasn't just an athletics decision. But for us, we looked at the health and well-being of our student athletes. There were too many questions related to the spring and the idea of playing a full fall 2021 season. The idea of playing more than 20 games in a calendar year. There were just too many questions from a health and well-being standpoint for us there. There was a lot of questioning related to the ability for us to effectively run an athletics department in the spring when you have 16 teams competing in the championship portions of their schedules. And for us, it was really just then about carving football out and saying, hey, and we're seeing it now with leagues, starting to ramp up their efforts. We just felt like football was meant to be played in late summer and into the fall. And, in Kentucky, we started on January the 15th with camp. That's not spring football, that's winter football. There were just too many factors that ultimately led to us making the decision in consultation with faculty and staff experts on this campus, the administration support, that football in the fall was the right plan for us.
And so now other sports deal with the scheduling puzzle. The start of men's and women's basketball, which is set for November 25th, and then the postponed soccer and volleyball schedules and other fall sports. So where do we stand on all that?
So we are working through schedules now with respect to soccer and volleyball and men's and women's basketball with the OVC, just kind of what those models would look like. Again, it's an unusual year. We're always going to be flexible, I think, and kind of forced flexibility throughout the year. As recent as last week is when we learned that the start date of the men's and women's basketball schedule would move from November 10th to November 25th. And so you have a 15-day window where you had several games built up on both sides that now you're scrambling somewhat to adjust those and hopefully being able to accommodate those from November 25th on. But for us, it's continuing to work with the league office, working groups of ADs and other staff and league office staff to help build those schedules and ultimately get to a point where we're able to provide great experiences for 300 plus of our student athletes.
The first home football game will now be the first Saturday in October. What's the situation about fans in the stands?
So we'll be making an announcement a little bit later this afternoon, but I will tell you our capacity is going to be at 20%. There will be no tailgating for this year. Our box seats will be at 20% or up to 10 individuals if it's a family unit, whichever is greater. But you're just going to see a different environment. That capacity for us allows us to accommodate all of our season ticket holders. It allows us to accommodate our students. It gives us the flexibility to be able to offer a limited number of single game tickets for sale this year. But Greg, obviously when you're standing in the concession lines, you're going to be standing 6 feet away from people. When you go into restrooms and you approach concession lines, there's going to be a way to approach, and there's going to be a way to exit. It's going to be an unusual year. You've seen it at Marshall. You've seen it at WVU over the last several weeks, and fortunately, we've been able to really sit back and watch and kind of observe and learn. But everything that we've done, there is no guarantee that it is a safe environment necessarily, or one where you can't contract COVID, but working with, again, campus experts, working with our Department of Health, and ultimately getting the approval from the state. It's consistent with what our colleagues in the state in different leagues have done to get to this point.
Athletics Director Matt Roan will never forget 2020, will he?
No way.
Thanks for everything you've done, Matt. I know it's been a long, tough, winding road, but we're making it through straight and towards the ultimate goals, I know.
Well, I appreciate it, Greg. And for me, I'd be remiss. I get the chance to visit with you and talk about some of the stuff that we're doing, but I'm not in the position and keeping my sanity if not for, again, a great administration on campus, faculty and staff that are phenomenal to work with, our staff and our coaches, our student athletes inside the department. It is a team effort. It's been a team effort. It will always be a team effort. And we will emerge from this, and I think we'll emerge from it better.
Okay, thanks, Matt. Matt Roan, the Vice President and Director of Athletics at the EKU. And that does it for another edition of Inside EKU Sports. Like and follow all of these social media pages to keep up with Colonel Athletics. Until next time, so long, and as always, go Big E.